Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Khadijah Toto, and you are listening to Trance, the podcast where we are the deliberate creators of our own realities, united in light during the darkest hour. We foster spaces of love, acceptance, and truth because we know we are one people. Living through different simulations, we define and choose to be our own truths while living in a co-created environment within multidimensional realities. With that being said, we're just curious to understand and overstand how others create their worlds of knowledge and inspiration so we may create a better world for ourselves. Now, everything we're going to say, you already know, and you don't have to agree with us or disagree with us. It's all about actively listening and putting everything on the table so we can observe and we can just access this kind of knowledge and converse. Now, I am so excited about our guest today. I've been waiting months to get her on here because the schedules have been hectic. You know, we changed our schedule on Trance, so we're airing on Wednesdays now. And I'm so excited to have her here because she is an STD life coach. Now, before I met her, I had never heard about an STD life coach before. So to have her on here, is just amazing. She's been doing this work since 2015, if I'm correct. And she has been working, since her own diagnosis. We'll talk about that when she comes on the show. It inspired her to go a little further because she noticed there wasn't anyone who looked like her that was able to do that. And what about overcoming, what is the stigma of herpes and how do you overcome that and how do you become confident again? And so in her STD life coaching, she helps people do that. So without further ado, let me just bring her on. And she was in Essence magazine. So we're going to talk about that too. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and bring her on. Hey, Lily. Hey, we here.
I'm so excited. I love you dearly. I swear. I so connect.
I love you. I'm so excited to have you on.
I'm excited.
And congratulations on your Essence article. I read it. It was so awesome. You are trailblazing. It's not even trailblazing. It's pioneering.
I'm so excited. That was a dream come true. Like, it was absolutely a dream come true. Like, I literally took pictures and like for a while and kept saying, I'm going to be in Essence. That's before where I am today. I'm going to be in Essence. I said, I promise you I'm going to be in Essence. And when it hit me, I was like, oh, I'm in Essence.
Yeah.
It didn't hit me until yesterday. I like boohoo cried yesterday.
Essence magazine. That is like Black Vogue. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I did it.
That's amazing. I'm so excited.
I didn't do it. Let me check myself because I'm humble. I didn't do it.
Hey,
he used me.
I'll be humble for you. You go ahead and be.
Girl, I'm so excited. Please, y'all, if you want to do it, do it. Listen, serve hard, work hard. Best believe it pays off.
Yes, serve hard, work hard. Best believe it pays off. That is quotable. That's a shirt right there.
Listen.
She got that coming out too, huh?
No, I just came out, but I'll show put it on the shirt real quick.
I love that. So I want to get straight into it. You know, our subject is overcoming the stigma of herpes because when people hear an STD, it kind of clenches you up. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I hear herpes, when I hear HIV, when I hear AIDS, when I hear chlamydia, when I hear any of those words, it kind of makes me, scrunge a little bit. So how do we not even overcome, but what are those stigmas and how do we like get rid of them?
Number one, stop thinking everybody a hoe. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like that is one of the biggest problems we're having with STIs is that we assume everybody is doing possibly what you doing. You just lucked up. I'm gonna call us out because I'm not gonna lie. I am tired of a culture, and I'm talking about of a people. I'm not talking about a certain race, but a culture to believe everybody talk about sex, talking about how they tossing it, turning it, dropping it. But when it comes to one of the consequences, I ain't doing nothing, girl. You just told me what you did yesterday. Now it was interesting what you did yesterday. But I know what you did yesterday. And now you're just like, ew, not I. The biggest thing with the stigma is that most people believe it'll never be them. And I think that's the biggest thing is to believe it'll never be you. And it's something I said the other day, and I was just like, is if you don't think it's you, you're not responsible like it would be. So most people don't think about it. If you don't think about it, you don't act like you would. For example, if I don't think I'm getting hit by a car, sometimes I don't think about looking twice. And your butt get hit by a car. So my thing is, we need to get to a place where we understand is most of the STI stigma is coming from a place of, it'll never happen to me. I'm safe. I'm good. But how are you safe and you're not aware? I just want to know, how are you safe if you're not aware? Self-awareness is everything. But if you're not self-aware, then you don't realize most of your behavior could be very risky. Not like they said, it's more risky if you have multiple partners. You're right. You're exposing yourself to more people. But I feel like you're risky, period, if you're not aware. If you're not aware of your action, you're not aware that it can happen to you, you're not aware that it's just a virus or it's just a bacteria. Let's be honest. Let's look in the world that we in now. We got COVID going on. It's just a virus, y'all. Like real talk. If we want to break it down to science, it's just a virus. But if somebody gives it to you, not on purpose, we're going to use that. Not on purpose. Are you cringing? No, you're just like, dang. If they knew, they wouldn't have been around me. If they knew, they wouldn't have did this. So my whole thing is we just need to come back to the science part of it's just a virus. It ain't a person. It's just a bacteria. That's all it is. And then all it want is a host. We're pretty good hosts. I ain't even gonna lie. We're some bomb hosts. We ain't nothing but hosts.
Yeah, so that's true.
And we need to just understand is that it's nothing but a virus, and it can happen, or a bacteria. It can or pass. I'm going too deep, but it could be any of those. It could be any. It's just something that's living, and they just want to host, and it's just using us. But if we don't believe we can be used, then how are we going to prevent? So we just need to stop clenching up so hard and thinking it will never happen because it can't. It can. Do I want it to happen to you? No. I don't want to get no STI. I really just want the numbers to go down. I'm going to be real with you. The numbers are still sky high. Even with COVID, folks are busting it down. You see how these babies? We know it's happening. It's happening. And people are still going out here having sex. People are still not considering that it can happen. Mm-hmm. And it's happening. I'm still on the phone with folks all day, all the way through the pandemic. I was talking to folks.
Wow. And how common, because I hear we're going to talk about different industries, but like in the porn industry, they say that herpes is like a common cold.
And they ain't bothered because they are aware. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. They are aware and they are not cringing. They just know it comes with the territory. I feel like if they understand it comes with how we don't understand it comes with the territory.
That's real.
Just because it's work, I don't care. It's the same thing. You're doing the same thing. You just ain't getting paid for it all the time.
That's true, though. That's true. It's like getting in the car and being surprised that there was a possibility that you could have gotten into a crash. It comes with the territory.
That's why you got insurance.
That's why you have insurance. Mm.
And so for us, I say our insurance is being aware. Our insurance is being aware that it can happen to me, not because I did anything completely wrong. Same for a car. I don't always,
Mhm.
but if somebody slammed behind me, they slammed behind me. I didn't do it. I didn't stop all of a sudden. It wasn't nothing on me. It just happened because they looked down or something happened with the car. So that's another thing. So for us, it's the same. Just because you have sex with them, that don't mean they completely know their status. That doesn't mean they completely know are fully educated. That doesn't mean he know how to put on a condom correctly. Ladies, please remember, these men are not fully educated. It is not fully their fault. Okay. He
Yeah.
doesn't know that, or simply he didn't know, for example, he didn't know that certain things wasn't on his panel because every panel was different. Every
Mhm.
panel is not created equal. Every doctor's office, we know, is not created equal. Don't assume that it is. Just because you say everything doesn't mean everything in their mind. Their everything is whatever they allow. Our everything is what we think it should be. So communication must be there. So we just have
Mm.
to understand that. We have to understand that. We just
What is your story about
Woo!
how you, I mean, do you say how you contracted it?
No, I had
Okay.
it. Have it.
So how did you, okay, so tell us your story about how you got herpes.
Yeah. All right. So I was a college student. I was a sophomore in college. I was at Auburn University, just transferred from Tuskegee University, So I
Mm.
transferred from there and I switched over to the other side of the world, but it was a great world. But I ended up transferring. When I transferred, I was in a new world, didn't really know anybody, but I ended up meeting another guy. He was transferred in as well. Okay. So we were like, oh, we're newbies, connecting, whatever. No lie, it was only 3,000 black folks at this whole school. And anybody know about Auburn, it is huge. But it wasn't that many of us. So we connected, hung out a couple times. Well, not a couple times, I'm keeping it real. We hung out like twice, okay? And I had sex with him, okay? Just keeping it real. That's college life. Don't play. That's just what you do.
Mm.
Don't do it though. At the end of the day, that was me.
Right,
And
right.
protection, keeping it real, keeping the whole story. We use protection. On genitals. Remember, guys, just because most of us don't use it for oral. So I'm going to tell the whole story. And then literally the next morning, like as I woke up, I was feeling uncomfortable. So I'm thinking like, oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable. It's probably just irritation from sex, irritation from the condom. That's common. I'm not going to trip. So I'm still walking. I was like, oh, I'm still in pain. Okay, I'm just going to assume, he did something weird. I tore a little bit. I ain't going to trip. Go home, take a shower. And I was like, no, this feels so weird. This is not something I'm used to. Any young lady, you have a mother who is as blunt as mine. She said, you better get a mirror and look at your stuff. You need to know what she looked like. And I was like, what is that? Like, I literally had lesions. And it was traumatizing. Like, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, right away, I knew it was herpes. Right away, I knew it was herpes, even though I didn't know a lot. I was like, that's the only thing that I know that has bumps, cuts, anything like that. So I was just scared. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I reached out to friends, called them, trying to figure out what to do. Most of my friends like, just go get tested, things like that. I end up texting him like, hey, when the last time you've been tested? Which I'm going to tell y'all, the worst thing to do is to ask that person after the fact. You need to have those conversations prior, but I wasn't assuming anything because number one, I never had anything prior to herpes. And then we used a condom. So I wasn't thinking nothing. And at that, it was the next day. So I was like, I don't think nothing takes that fast. So he was like, no, I'm good. I got tested, whatever, what's wrong. So I explained to him, he was real calm. He said, get tested. We'll find out. Went to the doctor, confirmed that is exactly what I had. And I was traumatized. I was traumatized because, like I just said, that's the only STI this is the only STI I ever had in my life. Ever. I never had anything. And boom. I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. That was my biggest thing. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I'm in a school by myself. All my friends are at different universities.
Mhm.
I ain't telling my mama because I don't want to have to explain to her none of my business right now. So I didn't tell my mom at all. And I just I don't know what to do. So I just froze for a while. I was still going to class, but I froze because I didn't know what to do. And that was in 2009.
I mean, what did it do, with you going there? You're in shock. How long did it take for the diagnosis to come back?
Now, so with my diagnosis, since I had physical lesions at the time,
Right.
the lady, the nurse came in and she was not nice. Okay. She was not, I don't know if Auntie was having a bad day or what, but she was not nice at all. I was already crying. I had been on and off the phone with my friend because she walked me through it. At that time, she was a nurse, well, in nursing school. So she was working me through it. Pretty much, I knew the diagnosis because she already diagnosed me, but she was like, I'll be with here. Don't worry about it. So the lady come in, I told her, I said, I'm having a couple of, symptoms. I see some bumps or whatever. She said, okay, ma'am, lay down, open up and let me see. She's like, yeah, just looking at it. Like, you have herpes. You'll be okay, though.
Okay. So it's that normal.
Like she wasn't bothered. She's like, well, she said, that's what it's looked like, but I'm going to take a culture. Y'all, a culture is the devil. Literally, she had to break my skin open. It was already healing. And she had to break. It was so painful. I was in there screaming and crying. The lady didn't comfort me. It was so painful because she needed to open it up just so she could get a culture to look under the microscope. Mm-hmm. Even though she knew that's what it looked like, just because, and I'm going to say this to anybody. When you go in, they say it looks like something. That's just because they kind of see stuff all the time. But don't always take what they say as bond until you get test results. Because it could be simply something else. You could have an allergic reaction. It could be anything else. But they're going to go based off what they see. They're looking at the circle of the thing. They're looking at the pus out of it. They're looking at different things like that they kind of just know. They've been in the industry long enough to know. But at the end of the day, I was just like, no. But because I already knew. I felt it in my gut. Gut don't lie. I already knew. So I was like, oh, God. So she came back a couple of minutes later. She said, yes, Miss Spivey, that's exactly what you have. You're going to be okay. She said, get dressed, and I want you to step over for a second. And I want to see if I can get a doctor to come talk to you. So I'm sitting in there still. I got back on the phone with my friend. I'm like, oh, my God, it's confirmed. I'm still in there crying. She said, you're going to be all right. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I was like, no, I was like, no, I'm not. I don't know what to do. Like, what am I going to do? I can't do this. I can't do. She said, yes, you can. You can handle this. We'll get through it. So the lady come in. She's like, okay, Mrs. Spivey, well, you can't talk to the doctor today because she had an emergency. So you're going to have to make another appointment. So I had to come back. But she's like, here's a pamphlet. Read it and you'll be fine. I said, what do I do? She said, oh, you put it online. Let me tell y'all something. I had Yahoo back in the day. That's like AOL to us today. Like, no lie. That's like AOL to us today. It's non-existent. Like, it was nothing on it. At that time, nobody still wasn't talking about herpes like that. And for darn sure, I ain't see no black people. I didn't see anybody who looked like me. I didn't see anybody in my age bracket. I didn't have anybody who was single at that time, had no children. I didn't know what to do. It wasn't nobody on campus I can talk to because I'm like, now I got to tell my business. I listen. And anything about college, always a student work in the office because work study, whatever. Like, right. Y'all are not going to be telling my business. So I didn't go to no therapist. I didn't go any. I wish I would have, but I didn't. I was like, I'm just going to have to fight this thing by myself. And it was hard. It was hard. But I ended up getting mine right away just because I had physical symptoms. But if you don't have physical symptoms, you'll get a blood test. With that blood test, it can take up to, I'll say 3 to 2 weeks, depending on your lab.
Wow. It's one of those things where I like the way that you're putting it, of it being more, it feels more matter of fact and more scientific in the way that you put it. Whereas, and it loses all of the connotations of, you have this, you're doomed for life, because that's like low key, I think what a lot of people
I felt that. Mm-hmm.
So how did you, what did that like phone call look like for you? Like having to, because, and then even then that's something that you have for life. We have a question on here. Kia has a question. Hey, Kia. She said, what happens with the guy after if it was confirmed? She's asking me, right, what I was asking.
Listen, girl, we getting right to it. She was just about that. I was going to tell that anyway. Absolutely. Yeah. Good question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
All right. So with this, okay, so after I go to the test, I get my test results, whatever, I end up messaging him back. I texted this time. I couldn't talk. I had a frog in my throat. I couldn't talk. So I texted him. I said, I have herpes. Like, this is what I have. He was like, what? He was just quiet. He didn't say anything. He kind of texted me back like, are you okay? whatever. I was like, have you ever had any symptoms? He was like, no, I never had any symptoms, but I'm going to go get tested too. And I said, okay. So he ended up getting tested. He ended up coming back. He did not have it. So now I'm looking like, where the heck did I get this from? I was like, now, let's be honest. I know a lot of you guys been kind of like, you got it that quick. That's not possible, y'all. But for somebody who never had an STI, I didn't know that. So that means what happened was I already had it and I had my first outbreak. Us having sex, friction is one of the triggers. The friction caused me to have my first outbreak that I never had. So that means I got it from the last person I've been with. Now I can back my story up a little bit more because that summer I had sex with this guy that I know, me and him really close friends, had sex for the first time. Now we didn't use protection because I knew the dude since I was 15. So I trusted him and he trusted me. Let's keep it real. We just trust each other. We knew each other all our lives. That's how I felt. And we had sex. He literally reached out to me on Black Planet. You know, Black Planet is non-existent now. But
Black Planet. That's a while ago.
Listen, before Facebook, y'all, he reached out to me on Black Planet. He was like, hey, Belize, I had some sores on my penis. Like, do you have herpes? I was like, bruh, no, hell wrong too. No, I don't. I ain't never had anything. So now I'm thinking like, I never had this. You're the first person ever to say anything to me about this fishy. What I do, I went to go get tested. It said no on my end at that time. But that could be because I got tested the same week. That's the thing about blood. And I'll say that kind of like slow down a tad. With blood, sometimes it can take a little minute, especially since I have no symptoms. It could have just took a little bit longer for it to follow. And I'll tell anybody, if you just come in contact with anybody who have herpes, getting tested right away really ain't going to show you right away, especially if they don't have any symptoms. It may take it could take you up to 3 months to probably really see if you have it, yay or nay. But if you have symptoms right after having sex with a person, which could be 2 to 14 days, then yeah, you know for sure, okay, I know where it came from. The person told me they had symptoms. But I didn't have any symptoms after him. I just got a blood test and nothing ever came back. So that's the only person I could think going back to who said something. I didn't hear anything for anybody else. I ain't gonna lie, I was getting it in. So with that being said, I went back. I was like, hey, bro, hey, nobody. When I say nobody, he's the only person that said anything. So I was like, well, it had to come from you because based off everybody else, it was a no.
Yeah, it's like a treasure, like a treasure hunt or something. Because
in a sense, especially if you. For me, the thing is, I'm getting tested, but I'm getting tested for everything. Everything don't include herpes. And I'll tell y'all now, stop going in and saying everything. Everything to them is gonorrhea, chlamydia, HIV, and syphilis. Sometimes, or Hep C. Sometimes they don't include that depending on what area you live in, depending on the stats in your area. If it's low, if it's not really much gonorrhea, chlamydia in your area, well, they're going to always test for gonorrhea, chlamydia. But if it's just a Hep C or syphilis is not heavy in your area, they might not test for that. And with herpes, they know the test result. The testing is so shaky. They don't like to test for it. It's like if you don't have symptoms, we don't want to say you have it because at the end of the day, the test can go like up and down. Herpes is not in your blood. I'm saying that to people. It's not in your blood. It's on your nerve ending. So that's why some people are like, oh, it can go dormant or you can have it for a long time. Because at the end of the day, it can go dormant and something can spark it or it could just be chilling and you don't know it's there. So they don't like testing this because the test is just not reliable yet. They haven't got to a place to have a reliable test. So they prefer you to have symptoms so they can confirm because they can look at it, they can swab it, look under the microscope and confirm it. But blood test, it goes up and down. Some days you good, sometimes you say you have it. One test can say you have it, another test you don't have it. Then it can say no, you don't have it at all, but you keep having outbreaks. Right. So that's why they kind of like staying away. And I understand why they do that. But it's still not fair because at the end of the day, many people are getting it. And you're like, well, I thought I was getting tested. I'm like, oh no, we're not testing you because you ain't got no symptoms. Or you don't give us a reason to give you tests because you're not risky, quote unquote, because they're looking at your sexual history.
Wow. This is good. This is good to know in general, just about, STDs and health and knowing that, because a lot of people would assume, you
I
know,
did.
that you're testing for everything, but you're not.
You have
So
to ask.
it seems like that. We have
Yeah.
another question. He said, how long was the in between of both guys you slept with? How long can an outbreak hold off until it happens?
Okay, so with those guys, that was in April. I had sex with him in July. You
Mm.
calculate. So it was that, and it can literally you can literally not have an outbreak ever.
Mm.
It can hold out forever. And sometimes, like, that's why that for me, I assume it had to be him because I was like, when I say never had a symptom ever other than a little yeast and a little bacteria, vaginosis, simple things
Yeah.
that most women deal with. I
Yeah.
never had anything like that ever in my life. So I was like, it got to be you because I ain't never experienced nothing. But when he came back negative, only one person who ever said anything to me was him. And I was like, yeah, that don't make sense. Like, so yeah, you can have herpes for a while and never have an outbreak. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people get frustrated with because it's like, how you have herpes and never had an outbreak? You will hear this a lot. This possible. That's why herpes is said. Like it's like one virus they don't like dealing with because it can be different. For me, I can have symptoms right away. Another person can have symptoms 2-3 months down the line. Another person can 2 days, like literally being exposed after 2 days. Woof. It's just everybody is different. And I think that's what makes it really difficult that it's not the same for everybody. But as we know, gonorrhea chlamydia can go unknown. Like you don't know how long you had that if you don't get tested.
Mm-hmm.
So it's many STIs that can go unnoticed. And we just truly believe it's no way you can have an STD and don't know it. I'm telling y'all, kill that stigma today.
Mm.
Not just lying to you. They really didn't know. Some people really did not know.
Yeah, because even if you do, like, even if you're looking around and doing all those things, there's certain things you can't see. And there are certain things like HPV, for example, is skin to skin, like it's skin on the skin. And I remember just opening up with the audience just a little bit. I remember when I had gotten HPV in college, and I was
About that college life.
oh my God. Right, that college life. I remember again. I mean, even still today, I just remember getting. I was like, wait a minute, what is that? Because it was one letter off. Thank God. And for me, and I was like,
they said HP anything. You like
anything with the H in the front.
Yeah, it scares you. It scares you.
It does because of this thing, because of how we see it, because of like what does life after that look like? And it's like, I'll never be able to get this. I'll never be able to get that. But like, I remember going in and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, well, where did this come from? You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, okay, is it, like, what is it? Because I wasn't used to the gynecologist calling me back. I was used to just leaving and not getting a call back.
Like, never getting a call back.
Yeah. But what were those? I know from my experience what those calls were like. And it was very shocking to me. And it was like the people who I thought it would be an easy conversation with were actually the hard ones. And the ones that I was paranoid that I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the toughest conversation with them ever to have, to tell them I have this and you might have this, and that actually ended up being an easier conversation. So what did those conversations look like for you in your diagnosis?
Listen, they wasn't fun. Okay, they wasn't fun at all. Because I was like, the type of dudes I was messing with is not the type of dudes you wanted them to have anything because they were fairly known. I didn't know I was that girl. I was like, I want that one. I was like, oh, he's a frat. Y'all say I can't get him. Bet. Got you. Got him. Okay, but that was just me. That was just like one of my little things for me. Y'all don't judge me. If you do, I don't care. That's my bad.
No. But you know what though? Like one thing I'll say just as a disclaimer is now anybody that didn't have a certain college life, I don't know if they're telling the truth or not. Because I will say I'm not gonna say college is for experimentation. I'm not advocating
It
that.
is.
But
In a
that
sense,
is,
you're learning how to be adult.
you're learning how to be adult. It's the first time you're away from home, unless you went to like a boarding school or some type of school like that. And you're out in the world for the first time. It don't matter how square you are. You know, I was super square and prude. And so I was like, you know, but it can happen to, like you said, it can happen to anybody.
Untrue
You,
quick.
right. You can be a square and still catch it because you might be talking to that person that does have talk to whatever. It doesn't matter.
You never know.
You never know. I love that. Kid said no judgment here.
Listen, kid, I like you, girl. We gotta
Yeah.
we gotta become friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
So it was difficult because I had a couple of guys that I was just like, he is going to be mad. But the ones that I thought would go, I mean, they honestly blew my mind. I said, oh, they really like me. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, they don't like me for real. We just having sex. You know, like, I'm just keeping it real. I'm like, we just having sex. This ain't nothing. But I learned, like, they was like, you good? I had people checking on me. Belize, you good? You straight? You know, I'm sorry that happened to you, you know, type thing. And I was happy they didn't have, you know, some people like, oh, I'm mad he ain't got it too. No, I was like relieved. I was like, okay. Whew. I don't think he can handle this. I can handle it. I can handle it, you know. So they were shocking. Most of the guys was just, they was cool. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it real. Some people I ain't tell them because I think he would have busted me in my head. So some people I just like, look, you don't want to take this to the grave. Like, cause I said he abusive. he never hit me, but he raised his voice a little bit. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Cause I was like, and I was just scared. Like some people, it's like he only know now. They know now because I came out. And I'm gonna be honest, they never came back and said nothing to me because they was out there doing other stuff. So they like, did I give it to her? I think a lot of them was scared because they were like, oh, she wasn't the only person I was messing with. Like, so it could be somebody else. So a lot of people were just more of a, I'm not gonna be so quick to speak because number one, we were in college, and number two, you was not my boyfriend. You know, so with that being said, well, one was, but outside of that, there was not my boyfriend. So it's like, I'm not going to act like I ain't out here doing me too.
Right.
So a lot of them were just like, okay, we're going to be real adult about it. I hope you good. I don't have it, whatever. I'm not going to lie. Many of them, they still want to smash. So.
Yeah. And I love that. And it seems like, you know, like it's almost like it's, I don't want to say like there's this guy and female thing, but from my observation, it just seems like the males are more nonchalant about it. Whereas it's like, I don't care, you know, you can have that and, you know, pop goes the weasel, you know. And for the women, it's like, what you mean you got that? No, you know, or
they're different. I can say in this community, I see both of them struggle mentally. Mm-hmm. Because they're struggling with what they possibly said already about others. Now they're in the boat and they remember what they said about everybody else. So now they're eating their own words. And then also what we have heard others say. So now you're thinking you align with that. And one thing I did not do, like I struggled with in the beginning, but now I say, you know what? I can own all mine. I can own all every single one. I can own it. Like I'm telling y'all now, and I don't care. I can own mine. A lot of people struggle because they don't want to own their behaviors. They don't want to own what they do, and they want to act like they ain't doing nothing, but they out here doing stuff, and you want to act like, not me. I don't do stuff like that, girl.
That was me. I was that girl. I'm that girl. Not me. I don't do that stuff. That's that I was that girl. So to have that in what you're saying, to have that and to have you saying this, like, yeah, that was me. I was like, not me, not no innocent me. Like that's not possible, you know, like that's and I say now it's like more like, whoa, like that was the first time I realized, okay, it can happen to anyone. And it's not about like you could have been with whoever you wanted to, and I could have been with one person and still got it because they didn't know that they had it from back. It just takes one.
And I think that's what we need to understand. And I feel like it's not fully, it's our fault that we fed it but it's not fully our fault because of the education we received. Number one, for so long, they told us multiple partners, you are higher risk. You a hoe, you getting an STI. That's what we heard.
That's real.
Let's be honest.
That's
you
real.
No, you got an STI because you promiscuous. That's what we heard. That's what we hear in the streets. We don't hear that terminology because they're talking from a place of based off science. We understand the chances of you getting it because the numbers increase based off of it. We know that, and we know how many people in your area who have an STI. They know science. We don't know it. We ain't looking at statistics. We're just like, man, the only way you're gonna get that means you got a lot of bodies.
Wow, that's you know what? I feel like you're speaking to my old self right now because I was like, I'm not even a hoe. I just don't understand.
Girl, you know how many times I hear from my clients? It's like, I'm not a hoe. I said, it don't matter. You busted open, didn't you? Oh, okay.
That's real. And it makes you more. I had a friend recently where I was like putting a lot of pressure on myself. And he was like, oh, so you're not God. Oh, congratulations. You know, and I was like,
slap you in your
oh,
face.
Good point. Like I love it. Yeah, good point. You're right. I'm human and I do make mistakes and that's okay. You know, and it's just like you have some that you can get rid of, and then you have some that are with you for life that are just like y'all are besties now. And even then, I don't know, I still feel like some stuff is still like lies dormant, like what we were talking about earlier. But I do want to address some that we have comments coming through.
Come on, y'all. I like y'all.
Yeah, this one aunt, she says, hey, auntie. She said, no judgment. It's great that you're comfortable telling your story.
Girl, I ain't scared of nobody.
Yeah.
Never will.
And Kia said, I love that you're owning who you were and not downplaying this. You was getting that D and you are not ashamed to say so. So to address your past, to move forward. Love your honesty.
One thing I have learned, and it's interesting because on your page lately, you've been talking about self-awareness and you've been talking about own yourself and knowing who you are. Knowing who you are is knowing your behaviors, but also understanding your behavior. Now, if I can tell my story, I ain't gonna get that deep. I understand why I do what I'm doing. I understand why I was doing what I was doing now. Then I didn't get it. But if you look at a lot of people and you start really looking at their story, you like, dang, you know, they doing stuff, but why they doing it is not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole thing, what I was doing was not healthy, but it was a coping skill at that time because I didn't know what else to do. Some people retreat. Some people don't do anything. I don't touch nobody. I don't want to be with nobody. I don't want to do nothing because they've been hurt. Other people just run towards the one thing that hurt them. They run towards the thing that hurt them. It's just trauma is interesting. It makes you do different things. You would think, why would I do the thing that hurt me?
Yes.
I don't know.
Trauma is interesting. You know, trauma, I feel like all people who have become life coaches or coaches to some sense, it's whatever that they struggled in.
Yep.
And it's that challenge for them. And that's why they're able to teach it and coach it so well, because that was once them.
Yeah.
And I just know for me, like my trauma came out in different ways. It came out in anger. It came out in sex. It came out in, I remember before, like I was 26 and I remember, going through this phase where I was super promiscuous. And I was like, I have not ever. I had to stop myself. And I was like, I've not ever been.
Look at you. See, I told you that's why we vibe. We had to pass.
I did not. I was like, where is this coming from? And
it sneaks up on you.
Yeah, and you don't even. The thing about trauma is, it's like a leech. You don't know it's on you until you see the blood, you decreased in blood or something like that. Somebody's like, hey, what's that on your back? And you like, I don't know, what is that on my back? And it's just like, trauma is one of those things, and it pops out all the time. But if you're able to see it, and do that shadow work, and shadow work is basically you confronting, that other side of you. And if you're able to do that and bring yourself back in the light, it's so much more like powerful. I want to keep going through the comments.
Oh,
I'm going to address, Kia, I'm going to ask your question after I address this comment.
Come on.
And then we'll go back. So my aunt, she says, in college, you're supposed to experiment. That is a turning point in your life because you are trying to find yourself. You are going to make mistakes, but it's very important to learn from them.
Why you want my mama? I didn't learn that, auntie. Like, no lie. I did not learn any. I went like things like that is things that we need to hear as we are going to college or getting out of high school or going into high school, because when you go in and you make mistakes, you beat yourself up. The first thing that comes is shame. It jumps down your throat. You get guilt in your mind, and now you can't think, and then you're still making the same decisions because you don't know how to do anything else. But I wish I had that. I wish I had that at first, but I just learned that good.
Yeah, but you know what? And not being ashamed of it. And I will say this is like for me personally, I remember in college we had it was like a sex prep class, and they taught us how to put a condom on, like and they had like dildos like for us, and we
Where did you go to school?
I went to VCU, but it was this woman having this doctorate in the African American Studies program. And she was like, Black people need to be like, have these sex education classes. So she developed her own class, and it was all of us. I was there for the pizza, but it ended up being a great time because
that's how you get college students say, you're going to feed us. We open that count.
Yeah, I was in that thing. And we ended up getting like a certificate and everything. It was cool because I didn't even realize like learning how to put on a condom, learning about STDs. We all got STD tests and looked at kind of like we had the option to look at it together or to be separate. We talked about like, you know, how many partners we were with, how many partners they were with, and like how it doesn't matter. You could be with one person, but if the one person that you were with was with somebody who was with 30 other people who was also with that one person,
we all know that
people at that point.
We all remember that poster when we go to school. Like when you go to the clinic, you see that poster and it scares you. But what you do? Not me.
Right.
Not mine.
Right.
He's been with a lot of people. You don't know.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Who gonna tell their real body count?
If they know it, you know, like I think that's such a, because I remember that being like a thing in college. Like if you had more than this many people, and in my mind, I haven't been asked that question, thank God, as an adult, because I think that's the most immature question that you can ask someone is, are you judging me for my past or like what? Because it doesn't matter. Like I wouldn't even ask that question because like you said, you're gonna lie or you like, why go back there? I might ask you like, you know, questions about your past in terms of like being in a relationship. What was in a past relationship that failed?
Yeah, that's important to me.
Yeah. Like what did the other person say that maybe you could work on? You know, I'm interested in those questions. You being a hoe or whatever you want to call it, that is your business. And my opinion of you is none of your business. That's all my business. So it's personal.
I don't think it matters. And this is the reason why I don't think it matters because, and this is about to be so sidetracked, but I need us to hear this.
Yes.
Man, I don't want to have sex with nobody who ain't never did nothing. I want them to be experienced. But then you want to judge them for how many people they practice with. Man, if you don't get your behind about this thing, he's able to do what he did because he been practicing. She's able to throw that thing in a circle because she been practicing. Please get off people. Okay. I'm just saying.
You know what? That is real. You know what? That's real though. That's very real. Because
you can't get mad. My whole thing, people don't anything about it. I mean, let's all think about our first time. Everybody who had sex, you didn't know what you were doing. You were just like. And let's be honest, most young ladies never wanted to have sex with a dude who never had sex before because she thought it was going to be horrible. And a dude typically don't want to have sex with a virgin because he know it ain't going to go well because he gonna have to do the work. Everybody wants somebody who has some experience. How do you expect them to get that?
That's real.
Now, how much experience they go out and get, that's up to them. But at the end of the day, by the time they got to you and he doing or she's doing what you like, they practice. Am I condoning this? No, I'm gonna say that to somebody because somebody's like, "You're condoning having sex." First of all, you're gonna do what you want to do because you're grown.
Right,
I'm
right.
on here watching. You are grown.
Well, this is a grown conversation, right? And so I think we have to get off of our pedestals and be real for a minute. You know what I mean? And even then, I'm gonna say what my aunt said. She said, as Black people, we have to educate our children. It starts at home.
That's what we're lacking though, because now we have Instagram. Woo, I'm so happy TikTok died out a little bit. Is it TikTok? No, not TikTok. No, Snapchat has died out because kids was getting DMs. They were showing all types of stuff. I'm so happy that Snapchat started to die a tad because they were getting live. They were doing stuff, and it disappeared so fast.
Right.
Even on Instagram, you can't monitor what other people put on their page. TikTok, you could just be scrolling and voila, it's in your face. So now our children are being bombarded with sex, even if they don't want to, but they're starting to feel things. They're starting to see stuff. And they're like, what is that? And they're like, girl, my mama and them did. And I heard my mama say, and my daddy said, and bro, my brother told me about this one girl. I walked into my brother and he watching something or walked on. Listen, everybody don't mess around and made a mistake and walked in on their parents by accident. It's the most nastiest crap in the world. But it's just things like that. And now the kid never get a conversation. One thing we need to understand, sex is natural. It's nothing wrong with sex. I mean, for real. Even for my real stuck up religious, it's nothing wrong with sex. But if we keep thinking something wrong with it, and when you do it and things happen to you, you feel like, well, I already knew something was wrong with it. Change your mindset. There's nothing wrong with sex. It ain't. It really ain't.
Whoops, I was on mute. My bad. Okay. I love this. And there's more audience growing, and we got like 15 minutes left.
Come on with questions.
But the audience has so many questions and so many things to say. So I want to just address them. I didn't even ask my own, so I'm glad we spoke about this before because they're important. Kia had a question that I cannot find right now.
I love it.
Here we go. She said, did you abstain after your diagnosis? If so, how long? And where was your headspace if you chose to be?
Ooh, okay, I'm telling my business. I'm trying. Listen, one thing I did do, I did stop for 2.5 seconds. Literally, 2.5 seconds. And let me tell you why I stopped for only 2.5 seconds. Sex was my coping skill.
Ooh,
I could not stop long.
Talk about it.
Like I couldn't stop long because first of all, I didn't know how to cope with stuff. Sex was an outlet. So I didn't take long to get back in the game. Did I make mistakes along the way? Yes, I did make mistakes. And when I mean mistakes, did I tell everybody right away? No, because I didn't know how. But my whole goal, if anybody know about a coping skill or addiction, you will run a person over for it. You will risk other people's lives for it, which I don't feel like this is risking a life. It's risking more of a mental health. But it can't stop. But at the end of the day, it's true. I felt bad about it and I had to stop because I was like, you need to check yourself. And I feel like that's what herpes did. It made me slow up and say, look at you. I gave this to you for you to stop. You're running yourself into the ground for a temporary feeling because you don't even know how to deal with your own feelings. Literally, I didn't know how to deal with my thoughts and my feelings. So I was like, let me go get a feeling that I know for sure it's going to feel good.
Yeah.
But no,
it's the same reason people do drugs.
It is the same reason.
It's an escape from the current reality. You feel good temporarily, and there you are. You're in that moment because of that high, that motion that because you working for your high, right? You physically working for your high. I'm just saying, you
gotta put in the work. Okay, you physically drugs. If you broke, you gotta go out in these streets and hustle.
You can't do it without putting in the work. So it's like, and it is a beautiful thing, And so,
yeah, but I did stop for a second. I did stop.
He said the dick was her medicine.
It was. And I really want us to understand that it's just not a woman thing. Men do the same thing. We just don't have We have not created spaces so they can talk about sex as open as we do. Because if we open the door and allow our men to really talk without making him feel low, then you will understand that men struggle the same way. It's like, man, I want to feel appreciated, but she threw me the vagina. I took it. Absolutely, auntie. Sex addiction.
Yes.
It's real, y'all.
It is. And
it's not just a other people thing. We have it too, okay?
Yeah. It's in us. We recognize it in them because it's in us. Come on. Well, we don't want to, but are we ready for that conversation? It's in us. Us judging them is us judging ourselves.
That's hard though, when you don't want to do the self-work. Like, and I'll say this to anybody. If you can look at somebody and say, ill, what are you illing yourself about? Because we're all humans. You don't know everybody's story. Because I'll be honest, everybody, from me, I know what I was doing, okay? I know what I was doing. I know what led me up to my point. Some people, it was rape.
Yeah.
You know, so let's be honest. Let's not continue to think just because somebody has herpes, it's because they quote unquote like me. You know what I mean? That's not everybody's story. One time, some people just had oral sex performed. I had ladies who are virgins. Oral sex is still sex, y'all. But at the end of the day, that's all she had. Some people just kiss people. Cold sores, all it takes.
Cold sores, yes. Cold sores is a form of herpes, y'all.
Yes, y'all. And my whole thing is, I want to say it to the individual who had it since they're a little kid. What I don't want you to do is just catch a defense, breathe, calm down. You did not know it. I have people who get so defensive, and it's not because nobody wants you to feel dirty or feel low or make you be on this side of the fence. No, it's just people for so long, they did not want to make cold sores a big thing because kids get it. And you don't want to think that somebody did something sexual with a kid. Y'all, anybody want to kill somebody who did something to a child? You know, and being a parent, I'm a mother too. That will freak me out to think that somebody, oh my God, STI, my child got an STI. So what they do? They said it's just a cold sore, it's no big deal. They had to dumb it down for the sake of kids are getting it because their parents kissed them as babies and they kiss them as little kids, and I kiss all over my kids. Some people, that's their culture. You can't get away from it if you want to. That's just what y'all do. You know, so it's things like that where they's like, let us, like, for the sake of sanity, sometimes we don't think they think about our mental, but they thought about it that time. Let's think of sanity. Let's just dumb down cold sores. Let's think about it. We see Blistex, we see Carmex. Y'all, no lie, Black people, I love us. Carmex was for herpes at first. Like, it was for cold sores. And we keep on putting it on our lips. Yeah, it helps. But you realize you keep putting it on 100 times. It's supposed to dry your lips out. That was the point. It was to dry out the cold sore. That's like,
would it be good in the winter time? That's the best kind of stuff in the winter time.
It was the biggest thing. You keep putting it on because it seemed like it's starting to dry, because it's supposed to dry that cold sore out. They don't change it now. Before it was a little bit more big, but they don't change it. Blistex the same way. It's really helping you with cold sores to keep your lips moisturized. So it's things like that we've been using. I love us, but we love some Carmex, and we didn't really
love the herpes medicine. Yeah.
We never understood what it was for.
Wow.
Who started Carmex? Who started Carmex in the Black community? I really want to know who did that.
We need to know. My mom is here. Hey, she said, I give Belize flowers for her openness. She is helping people be open about a lot of people's hidden secret.
Absolutely. 1 second. My computer dying.
No, it's okay. We'd rather have you here than your computer dying.
Yes. So absolutely. Like, my biggest thing is the reason why I came out and shared my story is because I have always been I was raised by a great mother who don't give a crap. Okay. I was raised by a mom who say what you want, when you want, how you want, and they'll deal with it. Now I'm way more kind than my mom. She got a good heart, but her outside will make you hate her. Okay. That's just how she made. So I took that part from her, that openness, saying what I need to say, defending people. I was that person. You better not bully nobody in front of me. I'm coming for your soul. Who you
Yes.
think you are? Like, really?
Yes.
Like, you know, that's just something I always spoke. I spoke out for others who couldn't speak for themselves. And that just has been me all the time. So when this happened to me, I finally had a chance to speak for people who've been living 20, 30, 40 years in the dark. Y'all have no clue. And when I had this article published in Essence, as we know, most people, if anybody know, everything got a demographic. It's most women who are in their 30s to 45, okay? A little bit older. I have women 40. Most of my clients now are they're in their 40 range. These women have been living with it for 20 years in silence.
Wow.
Pure silence. It's women who have stopped dating. This one lady said, I found out when I was 27. I'm 56. She cut her life off. You know how dreadful that is?
Wow.
She was in her prime. And she stopped living.
This is why your work is so important, though. And that's why I definitely have to give you some more flowers on top of my mom flowers that she gave you, on top of the other flowers that the audience has been giving you. Because having someone to secure the spirit, essentially, because it shakes you. You know, that's a death sentence.
In your mind.
In your mind.
And I think that's the biggest thing for somebody, for especially you being, you know, our mind regulator, okay? Right. Our mind pusher, you know what I mean? We all know what can happen when shame and guilt creep in. Mm-hmm. When fear creep in and you don't have nobody to validate you that you have an ounce of hope, it just continue to pile and continue. And it seems like life, everything starts drawing to you that you fear the most. I mean, it just comes towards you full force. Sometimes it run at you like a cheetah. Sometimes it comes to you like a turtle. It just depends. But at the end of that, it's coming and you're fearing it and you don't want it. And that's something I wanted people to realize. I'm going to tell my whole story, laugh about it, joke about it. People are like, how can you laugh about it? Because it's over. It's over. I made it, you know? And I think that's the thing. I want people to understand that you still have life in you. And if you have life, it's no need to live in shame. Shame is not a God, y'all. It ain't. I don't care what you believe in, okay?
Shame is
I don't care what you believe in. I don't care if you believe in nothing. You know shame is not of the universe. Literally, let's be honest. I'm going to speak across the board for everybody because I know me and you, we don't even believe in the same thing, but we know for sure shame is not from the God that we serve.
Right.
We don't believe it comes from you. Where do it come from? It's not something. We shouldn't have guilt that make you sick. Some people are sick because of shame. Some people are sick because of guilt. Some people are sick because of fear. It causes your body to kind of get paralyzed. That's why I said, don't be careful with stress. Stress don't kill you. Stress comes from, it's another form of guilt, another form of shame, another form of fear. Y'all, be careful. Ask yourself, what is my stress? It may not be your job. It be the fact that you're scared to tell your mama how you really feel. It's eating you alive. Okay?
That's real. That's real.
It could be finally talking to that girl. Listen, you're like, man, I want to talk to that girl so darn bad. It's eating you alive. You're like, man, I don't feel good. Stomach starting to hurt.
Oh my God. Okay, we have 2 more questions on here. Do you have time to stay like 10 more minutes?
Absolutely, girl. I got time today. Girl, listen, I purposely did that because I knew that was going to happen.
I'm so glad that you know, because I'm like, okay, we're going to keep to it. But, you know, the audience has questions, and I want to make sure that everybody gets addressed. And I'm so glad that, thank you all so much for being here. And if you find this important information, please share this. Please like this. Keep on in with the comments, because the more that we can spread this, the more that we can push this, the better off for our community, essentially.
Yeah, somebody tag Breakfast Club, because I'm trying to get on there. Okay.
Yes, come on. We're gonna manifest that.
We gotta make that happen, because I've been trying to get up on there. Okay.
Hey,
somebody post me on Shade Room, because we need to shut them crap down. The stigma is killing us.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so the next question that we have is from Olivia. Hey, Olivia.
Hey, Olivia.
She said, what are the basics we should know about STIs?
Oh, that is an amazing question. The biggest thing is knowing how STIs work. Because at the end of the day, a lot of us thinking it's just sex. We just had sex and it happens. We got to know that each STI transmit differently. If you know how they transmit, then you move differently. Some you can get from kissing. Now you need to be more aware of, okay, I meet somebody, I ain't gonna be trying to be kissing people right away. Because at the end of the day, they can have it in their mouth and they don't know it. That can be herpes. That can be chlamydia, gonorrhea. It could be in your throat. Some people think they got strep. You do not have strep. You need to go get your throat swab. And that is not to make you feel bad. If you got something that's continue to come back, y'all, it's things like that that we thinking and we knocking it off thinking that's that. No, that's not what it is. But you know you perform oral.
That's true. Can you get it in your throat?
Yes, you can.
Wow. So it really, you can get herpes anywhere then because it's skin, right?
Yeah. No, I wasn't talking about herpes. You can have it in your mouth. So you can have it on the outside of your mouth. You can have it on your nose. You can have it on your cheek. You can have it on your chin. Some people have it inside their mouth. And a lot of people get a little confused with it because they confuse it with a canker sore. We all, canker sores are different. Them suckers hurt. Jesus Christ. That ain't nothing but bacteria, y'all. That's all the canker sore is. But it can be like on your gum. Some people it can be on the side of their mouths. But they're kind of sometimes hard to say because you get canker sores or you don't bit the side of your mouth or things like that. So I tell people, if you got something that keeps coming back and back, go get it swabbed. Don't brush it off because it's like it keeps coming back. It's something going on.
Yeah.
Something truly going on with you. And also with the strep, like check that. Gonorrhea, chlamydia can be in your throat, y'all. It could be. So it's most importantly is knowing how STIs are transmitted. So then if I know how they're transmitted, then I know how when I'm going to date somebody or if I'm doing certain things, I need to be aware of it. Because if you know you're aware of it, okay, I had sex with somebody, I had protected sex, I get tested. I need to make sure they do a throat swab. Most people don't think about that. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't thought about it until like when I did some more training and I was like, crap, I forgot about that. You know, like it's nothing of. I'm not gonna act like I'm perfect. Listen, we're human. But that's things that we consider because if you don't think about it, you'll go and say, get tested. They're not going to swab your throat just because. They're going to do it because you're aware. And you ask them, oh, I perform oral sex on a partner, whatever. Can you swab my throat? Just to be safe. Because some people, gonorrhea, chlamydia may not show up down here, but it show up in your throat.
Wow. That's good to know. I would have not ever in 100 years thought of, you know, oh my gosh, my throat hurts. I might be sick. I got gonorrhea in my throat or chlamydia in my throat.
No, nobody gonna think that.
That is good. That's good. Like
it's just knowing the basics. And you can do that going through CDC. I'll say go to American Sexual Association and just do a little bit of catching up. I tell everybody, just refresh. I don't care. We've been to college. We know if we don't refresh, we don't remember none of that stuff. Yeah. You're like, I don't remember any of that because you haven't looked at it in a while. If you're going to continue to have sex, you need to refresh yourself to make sure you remember how things are transmitted. And I feel like I said before, we tend to forget that because we don't think it'll happen to us, so we don't refresh.
That is so real. That's so real. And I think when something like this capacity, like when something happens to you, like you said, it's one of those things that increase your awareness. So every time after, you know, or whenever you do encounter it, you're going to think about it a lot differently. Your intellect and experience is going to trump how you feel in your horniness because you're going to look at it different. You're going to think about it different. Even if you are coping and it takes 2.5 seconds or less, you still had a second where you thought about
the second that you think. And I think that's the thing. Like I'll say, I want everybody to think about this. What you're not aware of, you don't care about. What you don't think is going to happen to you, you don't care about. No lie. You don't care until it happens, typically. Now we got our overthinkers on here. Listen, I got my people on here who like, girl, please, not me. I think about everything. You know, that's just my, you know, this is how I am. But everybody ain't like you. It's not, you know, everybody don't think like you do, you know? Right. So I really want everybody just to become way more aware of, sorry, my kid. I want everybody to be way more aware that things can happen to you. It can happen. Stop acting like it can't. Yes. This year has proven to all of us, life can, listen, 2020, so all of us, it coming for you. if you do everything, mask, hand washing, and be completely healthy. I really want us to take COVID as an eye opener for all of us to realize it can happen to anybody.
That's real. That's real. And whew, let's just keep increasing that awareness. And this is the last question that we have on here, besides all the praise that I'm going to show you. The last one is, did you continue with oral or make them use protection after your 2.5 second break? LOL.
I swear. Listen, if I was about that life still, I would have a shirt that I'm that 2.5. But I'm not about that life anymore. Did you continue with oral? Yes. Listen, that's a requirement at my house. I can't see life without it. You know, like I started with it. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to be completely honest. And guys didn't care. I'm not going to lie. Like most, like one of the guys I was with cared. Like they didn't care about it. So protection wasn't a thing. It was more communication. You good, we good, we good. You know, type thing. And making sure everybody tested and stuff like that. So outside of that, no. Like literally the fact that I was so like, this what I got, this what it is. What about you? Dudes was like, man, you sexy. I like it. Like the fact that she is just like, here it is. He's like, man, anybody else? No, but you can get it. You know, like I'm not gonna lie, the confidence in the fact that I was so honest, because most people are so scared. But I came out and I told you, and this is what it is. A dude like, man, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never had no chick tell me this. Ever. He said, I don't been with some. Nobody ever told me nothing. And interesting, many guys have had at least gonorrhea, chlamydia, and he's like, she ain't never come back and tell me I had them. I'm found out because a homeboy said, bro, I heard, or he have symptoms. Or she thought you cheated, so she think you did it and found around and it could have been her. Never know.
Wow. You know what? It just highlights all of the things that like you've been talking about, and I think it gets rid of the fear. I think when people can see someone who has had a life after what they fear, because past fear is freedom, right? And because that freedom is on the other side, it's having that vision of what that freedom looks like, to not be afraid anymore.
Literally, my sex life did not die. I stopped it. I'll just be honest. I stopped my sex life for the sake of my mental, because I knew why I was doing what I was doing. But literally, if I was still about that life, it wouldn't have changed. Because number one, I finally got to a place where you want me or not. You want me or not. It is what you want me or not. But I kept the honesty I ain't gonna lie, I kept the honesty because I care about myself. And if I want to be with you, I'm gonna care about you too. Today, I'm gonna care about you. We're going to keep this communication open, and also teaching people that we need to be comfortable with this conversation. What we're not doing is getting comfortable in sex talks.
Yes.
We got to get comfortable in sex talks, y'all. Real comfortable. I mean, real comfortable, because it's uncomfortable at first, but if you keep doing it, he going to be looking at you like, what you asking me that for? Ignore his attitude. Just ignore it. Like, literally, ladies, stop getting moved by men catching attitudes about certain things. He just ain't probably never heard it. He looking like taken back. Like, I can't believe she asked me that. Yeah. And he makes a little judgment within. Is she believing that's the type of person I am? And sometimes it's not that. She's just asking you. Guys, let her know. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. I felt judged. Why did you ask that? Just ask her. And she can say, well, I asked because I've been through things myself, or I've seen people go through stuff. And, you know, I'm at a place where we're at a certain age. I want to learn how to have these talks. I didn't want to start the conversation, but I did. And then he was like, you know what? I respect you for that. Thank you. Now he may go out and have a talk with a young lady like, hey, well, last time you've been tested. Because you had that conversation. It's a trickle-down effect, y'all. We got to do the uncomfortable things. Other people won't do it. If you don't do it, hey, lead by example. And ladies, stop getting, I always got to be the first one. And so what? Just do it.
I think it's more awkward to take off your clothes, you know, like, than ask the question.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean?
Listen, that's uncomfortable. When your first time with somebody, it's uncomfortable. Oh,
I
girl,
think
that's
it's more nerve-wracking. I mean, because yeah.
don't do that. You got me thinking like I think about all those experiences. I was like, turn the light off. And I ain't gonna lie, I had a bad body, but I was like,
at least because my thing is, you're comfortable. You can't air out the words just for someone to hear, but you can physically touch me, and then with the potential of having something lifelong. To me, that doesn't.
we create we've got to think about media have created that it's okay to have action but no communication. Like media created that. Like we see it all the time where you act, but when it's time to talk, I don't want to talk. You see people running out of the show, or we see people slamming doors. You see people getting angry. You see, it's been teaching us to neglect communication and just keep acting upon it. Well, I showed you. No, you didn't communicate. We could have just eliminated this if we just talked about it. But we see so many shows that lack communication.
Yes.
Across the board.
Yes. All across. I think the shows are getting a little bit better now that people are waking up, and it's easy.
True. We're waking up and not watching TV.
Right. Everybody.
We're waking up and saying it's all fake, and you're trying to feed a narrative. I think that's the thing. For so long, we didn't realize we were getting fed a narrative. Now we're adults and we realize we are like this because we were fed a narrative for so long. Now we're going at each other's neck about something we really don't believe in, but we believed in it for so long. So I will also tell everybody, think of what narrative was you fed about STIs. Was your mama saying, oh no, you better not come up in here with this. This is stuff that we hear that you don't like. Oh no, I can't. My mama will like lose her bubbles. Like, especially girls, you better not come back pregnant. I'm putting you out.
Yeah,
really,
that's
was a scare tactic. Your mama really didn't want to put you out, but she knew you were scared to get put out. So she tried to say stuff to scare you. Let's be honest. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I know some women who probably have been put out, but I'm just saying most moms are just not putting you out. She don't want to, but she's just trying to scare you into it. It's like it's a scare tactic, which I feel like don't use pregnancy and STIs as scare tactics. It's not scare tactics because it could still happen. Now it's no scare tactic. Mm-hmm. And you're looking for bad responses to something that you has always telling you something bad is going to come out of it if it happens to you. That's why some people don't like their kids. My mama said it'll be bad. I ain't gonna be able to live my life. Lies.
Yes, come on, you better. Hey, we all need that person to prove wrong. So in a good way. And we have a question. He has one more question. I think this will be the last question that we have before, we go backstage. But she asked a question that I lost the stuff. Okay, here we go. It's a personal question. She said, "Where are you today sexually?" I'm sorry if I'm all up in your business.
Girl, come on, girl, get in my business, because I don't care. Girl, I ain't having sex. I'm celibate. I'm real. I'm celibate. Like, I have really stepped back. I stepped back because I was able to finally see myself. I'm able to see myself. And in the world that we live in, me waiting is in my best interest because I get to see you. And I get to see your mindset, and I get to see how you feel and why you feel and all those things like that. I know everybody don't agree. That's fine. But it's the best thing for me. After like I think your aunt said, sex addictions, they are real. Literally, I know how my brain functions, so I know I got to stay away from it until I know I want to be serious with you. If not, and that means serious, like, oh, we're going to be together. Like, we're going to be together. Like, for real. Because I know where my mind can go.
Yeah.
So not to do anything at all.
Oh my gosh. That's so real. And it's like the more aware and in your work you become, at least I noticed this with myself, is the more I'm focused on the work that needs to be done and less focused on the physical desires because everybody gets horny, whether they admit it or not. Right. Everyone has that moment in time. And even if it's with themselves, because masturbation is still a form of sex and it's still a form of release.
Self-pleasure.
Yeah. So just even having that and doing the work in sexually transmutation is like a huge thing because you're taking all that sexual energy and transforming it into your work and pushing through. That's why a lot
That's
of
how you
women,
see this business today. Okay, this business came out of me not having sex. At that time, I was married. So, guys, yes, I've been married. I got 2 kids. I wasn't having sex with my husband at that time. I birthed a whole business, y'all. I took that energy and stuffed it. We had some personal things going on. He was working a lot. I'm like, got that. I put that in. I just when I finally learned why they say sexual energy is so powerful. It's so powerful. So
wow,
you can do it. Like you want to know why athletes don't have sex before they play a game?
yeah,
They
that's,
can't. You're gonna kill their energy source, y'all. Sex is
yeah,
like your sexual. It's an energy source. That dude like, nah, bro, I can't have sex for the game. I ain't gonna play well. And look at the dude who had sex before the game. He ain't play well. Now some dudes are different, but most real athletes, you would hear even pros will talk about. I sustain from sex for a certain amount of time just to get my mind right.
mm.
Because they know all their it's energy source. Girl, we can go so deep. Dudes, girl.
Yeah, no, I mean, but that's real because even in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill talks about it and
Yes,
how,
he
like,
does.
I honestly think if young dudes, young people were to stop, they don't know what to do with themselves. That's why they just out here doing everything. But it's like if you actually had something to do, you could literally transmute all of that energy into your purpose and just, because you got to do
You don't learn
something.
that to 30. You know.
That's
It's something about 30. You get to 30, you like, oh, okay. I
I'm
get to
tired of
30.
everybody. That's real. That's
I
true.
get to
You
30 and I
become
realize like, I kind of like wish I listened. And I think this generation, I respect them in another level. They're way more educated than we were in areas. And I think that's just because we have so much more exposure. There's so much more social media. They can create their own platforms. They have their own voices. A lot of us didn't have voices then. Your mama speak, you couldn't. Shut up. But we gotta understand, our parents was closer to segregation than we was. Our parents was in it. Let's be honest. Like my mama was in it. My grandma was in it. Like my great
right,
grandma was. Like so it was just so close. Our parents still had ways of how they were raised because it was out of fear. It's like I gotta keep you safe. Now these kids, it's so far distant, even though the world's trying to turn back around. I rebuke you, But at the
right,
end of the day, the kids are so like, I don't know what that is. You ain't gonna tell me I can't talk. You ain't gonna tell me what I can they cannot do.
right, right. And that's a
I
good
have
thing.
a voice. It is a
That's a
good
good,
thing. It's a good thing.
especially,
I appreciate it because they have a voice. They see things that we don't see, and they're going. I look at it like I need them to be open because they're gonna the ones who gonna make decisions when I'm good and old. So let them be free because they're gonna be the ones. We're the ones making decisions for our parents and such and such. So it's like things like that. We need to figure out and let them be open. So when it's time for us to come, we know we're good. So
yeah,
that's why we're standing in and we're trying to make sure we're communicating, making sure you're keeping your mind, make sure you understand, even if you get an STI, it's not the end of the world for you. Things like that. I'll be honest, STIs are not going anywhere. They've been here forever.
that's real.
Ever. I say ever. Syphilis has been around for a long time, y'all. It's the first STI. It's been around for a
Yes.
while.
And oh my gosh, that's so real because those were the experimental STDs that were given, as you were talking about Tuskegee earlier. It just anytime I hear Tuskegee, I think of the experiments. So
Yeah. They
the
want to see what's gonna happen. And it's interesting. They just girl, hush, let me be quiet. But then they just wanted to see what's gonna happen. At that
yeah,
time, what we have now is not what we had then. Was it wrong? Absolutely. It was absolutely wrong. It was absolutely wrong. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah, oh,
Ah! But my whole thing
and
is
that's how it is.
they got to figure out what's wrong with it. They use it on animals majority of the time. A lot of people don't know that herpes can be in animals. It's different things. Like they talking about COVID could be on dogs and cats and stuff. It's things like that that we just not aware of. That's why they say
Yeah.
stuff on Amazon all the time because they so close to us and how they function. So it's just like, y'all, I just want us to understand that it can happen to anybody. You are not exempt. If you gonna have sex, I need you to know it can happen to you. But most importantly, if it do happen to you, number one, I'm here. I ain't nothing but on. Listen, hit me up on Instagram, Coach Belize, easy. Get in my DMs. I answer quick. Ask
She does. She does. With
We'll be
her
up late.
12,000 followers.
You're like 12 o'clock, sending messages. Hey, girl, hey. So, yes, I'm up. I'm talking because at the end, I understand in those wee hours when nobody's around, you doing your research and you're seeking for something. You're looking for answers when nobody's looking. Get your answers. Don't be ashamed, even if it's about gonorrhea, chlamydia, whatever. Ask.
Yeah.
So we can help you get on the right track. And one thing I want to say, please finish your medicine. Listen, please finish your antibiotics. I'm trying to tell y'all, please finish your antibiotics. If you end up getting gonorrhea, chlamydia, or even syphilis, finish your medicine. It's vital. Because truthfully, those three right there, you can get to a place where you use the medication and your body don't take it first time. And sometimes you got to go back. But if you think you just took it and it's gone just because your symptoms went down, doesn't mean it's gone. They got to test you again to make sure it's gone. That's why you hear a lot of STIs. Doctors say, come back in 3 months because they're trying to make sure the the bacteria got killed out. Bacteria is funny, y'all. Sometimes it be high and they don't want to get killed. It was like, nope. It's even to a point gonorrhea is getting to a place where it's going to be almost uncurable in a couple of years, probably another decade or so. It's going to be uncurable. And gonorrhea ain't nothing to play with.
Well, with that being said, I thank you so much for coming on and educating the audience. But I do have one more question because the audience member asked that it was Kia, and it made me think really quick. She asked, since you have the herpes, Lord, since you have herpes, like when childbearing happens, is it able to happen vaginally without the child getting it, or do you have to get a C-section?
Oh, no, it's not required to get a C-section. Both of them things came up out of here, honey, because I was not getting cut for no reason. I ain't gonna lie. I said they ain't sticking no needle in my back. I am jumpy. I just got okay with needles, and I still don't like them. Okay, but it's not required. And I'm telling y'all, we care more than the doctors do. I'm gonna tell you something about this medical industry. They care about stuff that kill people. That's why we see what COVID's happening now, because it's killing people. If COVID wasn't truly killing people, I'm just gonna tell y'all, you just really wouldn't be tripping. They will be warning us. Be careful. Take your medicine. Do your vaccination if they have one. Things like that, like they have for the flu and things like that. Make sure you wash it. But when something really gets you to a place like that, they care. But herpes, they were like, you are gonna be fine. It's like a little chicken pox. It pop up and pop down. And let me be honest with y'all, literally. Chicken pox is another type of herpes. It's not this form. Okay, right. Not this form. Because a lot of people say, well, everybody got herpes. Everybody ain't been vaccinated. I mean, we'll kill that. Everybody have not been vaccinated. So everybody don't have it. And herpes is not something you're born with. Just say like you got chicken pox. You weren't born with chicken pox. You end up contracting chicken pox. Many of the things that we're vaccinated for, we don't have it. They gave it to you so that you won't cause you any more harm. Or severe, like chicken pox can turn into shingles. And shingles ain't nothing to play with. When I say for elders, that thing is painful.
Yeah, that can win dust. Stay where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's things like that, which they have a vaccination for shingles now because they consider the elders. It's like it was too much for them. And their body's already weak. Most of them already have bad health. So it was really taking a toll. So that's another reason.
Yeah.
But you can't have a baby. You can have a baby with no problem. They ask you to take Valtrax, which is one of that suppressant therapies, at 36 weeks. which is your last trimester, and you'll take it all the way out. That medicine, the whole goal is to get you not to like prevent you from having an outbreak. If you have an outbreak during your pregnancy, you have to get a C-section. You can't get herpes out of your stomach. You know what I mean? Like I said, y'all, it's not through blood, anything like that. It's you pass herpes through the area that you got it from, quote unquote. So for some people, if you don't know what that is, then I understand your fear in a sense. But if you have outbreaks and you know, oh, it's oral or it's genital or I get it on my face or whatever, so that's how it's contracted. But for in genital, if you're not having an outbreaks at that time, no physical outbreaks that they can see, they're not gonna trip. And I ain't gonna lie, they be in your woo-ha. It's irritating. Never been uncomfortable in my life. Them nurses' hands are too big. It's nasty.
It's nasty.
It is uncomfortable. They are not gentle in no form, y'all. So, and I have two. I have an 11-year-old and I have a 6-year-old. So I had my oldest son, as y'all know, I had herpes for 11 years. I had my son. I got pregnant with my son the same year.
Wow.
So I had herpes and I found out I got pregnant. Like I got pregnant later that year. So
hey, you know what though?
I got punched with both of them. Listen, y'all, I got punched with both. And I'm still here. 2 degrees down, 3 on the way. Okay. So yeah. I'm still here.
Yeah, she's been doing this work for a while. Oh, wow. So that's awesome. We're gonna have to bring you back for part 2 if anybody has any other questions. Get her. Yeah, no, that was amazing. I just want to say thank you for everyone. Please follow her at Coach Belize on IG. Please. She definitely answers. And visit her website, stdlifecoach.com. Go ahead and get her ebook as well. Make sure you just in general, if you want to know certain things about STDs, STIs, just be sure to hit her up. She's super open. She's super ready to have that conversation and book a confidence call with her. And if you know anybody that does have an STD and they're struggling with it, you know, she has her sources and she has guidance, you know, that she's able to give. And if she's not able to give, she knows she can name them off the bat of who to
I know some folks who can help you. I can know some people, especially for my individuals who have an HIV, things of that nature, or you feel like you have an HIV scare. I know the people that you see on TV, I probably know 1 or 2 of them. that's the thing. Like the people that you, especially if you're in Atlanta, I know a lot of them. People who can support you through your diagnosis, getting you there, been having it for 10 years. So my whole thing, I want us to stop acting like HIV have went away because it has not. It's still here, y'all. It's still happening. Okay. But I'm here to support you. I ain't nothing but a DM away. Don't be scared.
Yes, I love that. I ain't nothing but a DM away. That's a hashtag.
A DM away, girl. DM away. Some people about to take that DM slat, like down in the DMs. That was used to my song.
Yeah, it goes down in the DM. Don't get me on no copyright infringement. So let's go ahead and close this out. Right? Thank you so much for joining this show. And is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience as we close out?
Yes, the most important thing, you're not alone. I really want you to know, like today, you did not see this for no reason. If you don't have an STI, take it as a warning. I'm just trying to tell you. Take it as a warning. I have many of my clients now. They've seen me on YouTube because I have a YouTube channel, one of the biggest YouTube channels, and the first Black woman on YouTube. But I'm telling you, they seen my video 2 years prior, and then they end up getting herpes. I'm telling you, I'm not telling you getting it, but I'm telling you it's a warning. Nothing's on purpose, y'all. Nothing's ever on purpose. We need to stop living in this world like everything is just happening all of a sudden. No, we're spiritual beings. Everything's always happening. It's for a reason. We're always being warned. We're always like, oh, something coming. I need you to wake up. Like, wake up, wake up. So my whole thing, if you're seeing this, if you're active, ask your partner. If you don't know, go get tested. If you know somebody who have it, tell them to come to me because you've been trying to help them forever and she just won't get over it. You can't help her. I love you. You tried the best. She needs to talk to somebody who got it. So just reach out to me. Tell her to book me now. Book the session. Don't be scared.
Yes, I love that. Belize, you are literally a lifesaver. A lifesaver, an angel, you know. What they say.
I hear that all the time.
An angel is just a sinner.
I'm a spiritual being. We all spiritual beings.
I love, and I take that as a warning, you know, and I'll take heed on that because there's no reason. There's not a reason that we've come together. There's not a reason that the audience is hearing. There's not a reason. This message is for someone, or for someone who knows someone who will
We
get in
all know
contact with you.
somebody. We quick to say we don't. But we all know somebody. And last thing I say, be cautious on what you say out loud. Because just because something's going on, quote unquote, with Usher, doesn't mean you crack jokes. You don't know who's dealing with what. You never know. And that's among your friends, your family, co-workers. You just don't know. And I know some people, I don't care. You say that until you are in a situation and somebody bring up your situation and you feeling salty. Because you feeling like they're judging you. They don't even know what you're going through. We need to be mindful of what we say. Because you just never know. So you wonder why your friend won't come to you and talk to you. Like, girl, what's wrong with you? Or your homeboy like, bro, you've been distant. Nah, bro, I'm good. Because you just judged him. He felt judged. And he was just about to tell you. And look what happened. Boyfriend, girlfriends, husbands, be careful what you say. You wonder why your partner ain't talking to you. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion, but have some compassion. You don't know why.
Yes. Amen. Mm-hmm. Amen. Amen. Well, there you have it. The powerful Coach Angel Belize on the stage. Thank you all so much for tuning in and joining us on In Trance You as we talk about overcoming STIs, STDs, herpes, and it's just been so much more. Tune in next Wednesday. We have one on Saturday as well for another show. And let's do this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace.